actually answered one of the things that I was going to talk about, because one of the big problems that I think that happens in Florida is that they've criminalized addiction. You have people that are drug addicts and they keep getting arrested for possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, possession of crack cocaine. Like if this person has never received any treatment, they're going to continue to get arrested for having drugs because they're a drug addict. So like as the next state attorney of Broward County, is that something that you are looking to try to prevent, people that addicts from becoming, felons?
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons I'm in the race. It's something I've been preaching about since I first got in the race and I started talking to people and going to events. The majority of the people that come into our jails and into contact with the criminal justice system are not hardened criminals where we need to go hard at them and try to send them to prison for years. There are some people like that. And I've done that. I've convicted people, I've taken them to trial, I've sent them to prison for years, but most people don't need that. Most people that come into the system, majority of people either are addicted to substances or they have mental health issues, or they suffer from poverty. And, they're not bad people. They're not terrible people. Sometimes they do bad things. They might make mistakes. And I think by, just putting them in jail and making them convicted felons only perpetuates a cycle of poverty and incarceration, or addiction and incarceration. And what I'd like to do is try as much as we can to help them not be in that cycle or get out of that cycle and get out of the criminal justice system and, be a productive member of society. Not be a tax burden where we're putting them in jail and paying for them, but help them be a taxpayer where they're successful, they're proud of what they're doing, they're happy that they got a job. When you're a convicted felon, you are legally discriminated against. It's hard for you to get a job. It's hard for you. You can't vote. It's hard for you to get a loan. It's hard for you to get housing, to go to school. So that's a big problem. And then when people face all those obstacles, there comes a point where then they're more likely to commit a crime and come back into the system.
You actually I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to take the conversation off a little bit and just kind of come back to it. So I also teach at some of the colleges around here at the School of Justice. I'm going to start teaching at the Institute of Public Safety at Broward College. And one of the things that I talk to my students about is there's a movement. It's not really big in Florida, but in some parts of the United States where they want to do what they call ban the box. You know how they ask you, have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime? There's a whole movement to say, just why are you even going to ask that question? Because it really, once a person says yes, half the time their application is going into the garbage. What do you think about that? Right? I know that's not what you came to talk about, but that's something that I think is important too.
If they have 10 applicants and they say, okay, well, 3 of them are convicted felons, they say, okay, well, we'll take those 3 out immediately.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I'm on board with trying to get rid of that in many situations. I understand where there might be some types of positions where you might need to know about a criminal history or criminal background, and then you can do that. A lot of places do that anyway, even if they might not ask you, but they'll pay for a background check. But I do think that in many circumstances it unfairly harms people from trying to get back on track in life.